Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The extended series is now 3-1 in Dongregu's favor. It could be the last match right now. I'm Day 9.
And I'm DJ Wheat, and we're hopping right into this next one on Antigua Shipyard as we load up. The anticipation between these two players and here in the crowd and in the arena is certainly climbing, as Complexity Heart must win this one in order to take it to potentially a final game. Or actually, no, he'd need to win 2 more, as DRG is leading 3-1. DRG looking to close it out. He wants to face MKP again.
In the right position, 1 game away from Marine King Prime and the top 2. The best Zerg in the world, MVP's Dongregu.
And on the west side of the map, as the blue Terran, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Complexity Heart.
You know, I do think that this map is going to be most in line with Heart's style. No matter what opening we've seen, he always goes to 3 command centers and big macro upgrade mode. On this style, securing those 3 bases, locking them down, very straightforward to do. At the same time, though, I think Heart really needs to consider the space between his opening and his late game. Right in the middle there, we see Heart not really applying any pressure, not really doing very much damage, not forcing Dongregu to hard decisions, which means that if Dongregu does anything greedy, he could even take 5 bases if he wanted to, and there'd be very little for Heart. There'd be very little that he could do about it.
Let's take a look at those poll results from the Xperia Sony smartphone poll. We've got DRG at an astounding 83%, Heart with 17%, and Heart certainly going up a little bit from from some of the previous polls, but DRG still seems to be the favorite. Now, I want to talk a little bit about that, the portion of the game that you were talking about for Heart, because there was that moment where he did have a double medevac loaded and ready to go. And the one Ling actually stopped that medevac.
Yeah,
I mean, it was instantly like unveiling. The magic trick is now known, and he knew that it was a potential in. Well, DRG, you know, still able to handle the drops in game 1 despite the fact of what happened. And I feel like at that moment we saw a piece of what Complexity Heart was really trying to do overall break away, and suddenly had to rethink his entire strategy. He just wasn't ready, as DRG's plan was just to push, 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 and eventually make you run out of units.
I mean, it's definitely going to require kind of restructuring of that entire period of gameplay for Heart to want to make a dent in Dongregu's play. We see the double gas coming up. Heart tried to fake a 2 racks by planting 1 racks out forward, but look at how Dongregu didn't fall for it at all, building up to 19 drones, getting gas first. He can now get double queen and Zergling speed. There's the double queen. There's the Ling speed right now for Dongregu. Honestly, Dongregu is so good at knowing exactly what he can get away with in the early game.
I'm curious to see how his scouting will actually go from this point forward, although he's seen, you know, the fake racks as well. If he does manage to get up here, if he does manage to get a glimpse of the command center, he's definitely going to know that something is up. Now, we are going to see still the path to Reactor Hellion here for Complexity Heart, which if he does show it, still couldn't be indicative of a pretty straight up way to start out the game. But I like where Heart's going with this.
Dongregu is doing a little bit of a risk, but given how many drones he was able to get away with, he is in fantastic shape. A Baneling Nest going down at the back as we head to the main of Heart. It looks like he is going to be going for the delayed Reactor Hellion. These Speedlings are going to overrun in seconds, and the SCV gets up into the main base. Will he be forced to cancel that one? And no. But if you're in Heart's position, you're wondering, why are there so many Zerglings? But what can Heart do about it anyways, Wheat?
Yeah, well, he is building the bunker at the top. 2 Marines out. Remember, because he had to fly that racks over, he lost out at least probably on a round of Marine production there. He could at least have 3, possibly 4 in there, and the Lings are making their way over. Now, the Baneling Nest is complete, and he is ready to begin morphing in there. The speed is done, and the first Baneling's already morphing
getting morphed. And as we go to Dongregu's main, we see that there are still units in the gas node. Drones being produced, not a single larva inject being missed. by Dong Regu. He is continuing to rally Ho. Where are Heart's units? Look at Heart's vision. He has nothing out on the map at all. The Hellions 1 and 2 still behind the bunker. Heart knows something's coming, but that's not going to stop Dong Regu. More Banelings morphing in, and a third command center. Oh no!
Oh, this is, I mean, it's playing directly into DRG's hands there. We get a swap. He's done making Hellions. If the 4 Hellions actually go over there, and then he rolls up with this, I mean, there's not a whole lot to defend from DRG. That could be the one saving grace for him, but is DRG going to attack here? If he shows these, certainly the Hellions will have to come back. I think the Hellions are going to make their way over, and no units are staying back.
Oh no.
Here come the Banelings.
Does he see him? Banelings moving in. Zerglings hot on their heels. Can Heart possibly defend against this? The perfect timing from DRG. Heart gets crushed at the front door. The Zerglings spread in. In the main, it looks like both of the supply depots are lifted. A single tank comes out. The Hellions have returned home. Heart is going to need a miracle to stay alive.
Still a ton of Zerglings coming by, but more amazing is that DRG is droning behind this. He's already done enough damage. He'll continue from here. He puts some more Banelings on the supply depot, some good repair coming out by Complexity Heart, but frankly, SCVs were lost. There's still a ton of Zerglings out in the field. All of the Hellions are now gone. Inside the base, there are just a handful of Marines and a siege tank left. This,
19 workers killed off by Dong Regu. In the unit station, we see 20 workers to 30. And fortunately, this third command center from Heart will help him rebuild that economy. But Heart has been badly beaten down by this incredible bust from Dong Regu.
I mean, at this point, too, he just, he sits back. You saw him put on his shades earlier and sit on the couch, so that's exactly what he can do. The Zergling's now in a position. If you land here, Heart, you're going to take a little bit of damage, and you're going to not be able to keep this up. DRG now plants his third down at the top. And, I mean, I almost feel like he needs to just keep this inside, but he does have siege mode now. So Complexity Heart's going to be able to set up a defense here. The amount of damage that was done, and there we go, starting to peck on that orbital once again. I mean, DRG has absolute control.
And, ooh, a nice pair of tank shots there at the front. Does look like Complexity Heart will begin to rebuild that SCV count. We see the double eBays down 1-1. In this circumstance, I actually think that this is a necessary play for Heart. He clearly can't put on any pressure. He's going to be obligated to stay at home, and if he's going to be at home for a long time, he should definitely be getting the upgrades as something good to defend. He's now looking like he did an extra supply call down on that one supply depot at the front, so Heart having a little bit of shakiness on things like SCVs and depots, and since he's been under so much pressure.
I mean, he is currently sitting about 20, now 23 workers behind his opponent, but man, that is not going to stop Heart at all. He got that orbital back down. He takes out that scouting link, and he may just go ahead and try to take this third base right away. He lifts that command center. He's going to get rid of this Overlord. And, you know, this opens up, even with the amount of units, I do believe a few attack paths here for DRG, as Spire's going to be finishing up soon. Spreading himself out at this point and not having a whole lot of units, I think, could be a real big mistake for Heart here. But let's see, as we'll have the Spire finishing up soon.
I mean, as I'm looking at the unit station, there is a very, very tiny window where Heart can perform an attack. You have to have absolutely impeccable control to be able to pull it off, as you see that Spire's now finishing. But man, Dong Regu knows exactly how to take a lead and maintain it. He is now knocking down those destructible debris. His third is up. He has 6 geysers fully populated, 6 mutas, 8 mutas en route with the +1.
And we've got over on the other side of Heart's base, the missile turrets are starting to go down as the double engineering bay pumps out those upgrades. However, we don't have any missile turret coverage anywhere around the base. Now, if he just sees the one, even without repair, that might not be that big of a threat. And then he's going to force those units from the front to move. That could give an opportunity for the Zerglings to swing around and actually attack some of those units, or he could just try to bring these all together. But the mutas are out. They're going to start making their way over. He's got a good spread on these siege tanks here in between his natural and his third, but the Lings have taken down that back wall, which opens another fantastic avenue of attack.
Heart desperately needs to start the 2-2 upgrades and go for some sort of 3-3 timing push. There's DRG already moving into the third base of Heart. Heart will just sustain some losses, and the workers can't really afford to do that in the main. We also see that Heart does have an answer. He has the Marines there. Dong Regu losing 2 mutas, this is the sort of play that Heart really, really needs Dongregu to slip into. I think very clearly the one advantage Heart does have is the upgrade lead. Look at Dongregu just now starting 1-1, whereas in other games he was already en route to 2-2.
Yeah, and you know, we'll be on this way soon, but he's starting to now get his upgrades at the Lair Tech with, of course, the centrifugal hooks for the Baneling speed as well. I'm a little surprised that we haven't actually seen another base, but this drone is making it over. There we go, DRG putting down his 4th, continuing to poke with these mutas inside this 3rd. There is not a completed missile turret. He will be able to take this out, actually focusing down those mules first and then going after the SCV before the Marines come in and get these mutas out of there. So these small pokes, good attacks from DRG are helping, but I'm very impressed with Heart, and not only how his sort of stubbornness to go with this very fast 1-2-3 command center actually allowed him to sort of bounce back from that initial attack from DRG.
DRG doing everything right, getting the exact mix of units. We see no Banelings yet. He's only going to start building those when he sees some kind of attack coming, but you gotta give Heart a lot of credit. He was on the verge of losing instantly to that bust, but stayed strong, and here he is at the 15-minute mark, still with a chance to win this series and go on to the finals.
Got +1 carapace going down for the mutas. Pathogen glands has started, so we can get those infestors out as well. And all the upgrades here starting to pour out for DRG, as again that scary creep spread starting to get further and further across. I really like the sort of defensive line that Heart has set up here. It extends right from the bottom of his ramp at his natural and goes all the way over. And here comes a swell of Zerglings moving in. The tanks will immediately force them to bounce back, but that won't stop the mutas from getting down a supply depot, possibly opening up a wall, but he just backs off.
There's 2-2 now finishing up for Heart. He has to get 3-3 started. His advantage in this game is upgrades. He's going to have a very odd timing if he tries to push, because Dongregu could start his hive at any seconds. It's 100 seconds, I believe, to build a hive, maybe even longer. Nope, 100 seconds to upgrade the hive. But those 3-3 upgrades are 220 seconds, so this still gives the Zerg enough time to get Broodlord, some hive tech up. The push timing for Heart, it looks like it's going to be now.
He's starting to mobilize here a little bit. He did add some Thors to the mix as well. And look at this, while he mobilizes, a little medevac, maybe it was a mistake, loading up. He's going to go ahead and maybe try to drop it from the back as he push forward. We do see the Mutalists catch a small group of Marines off to the side. The Zerglings do try to get in on that battle as well, but they'll be forced back. And those Banelings, there they are. Oh my God, morphing in like 29 Banelings. There is a drop still headed up to the north, but there is a large force here for DRG.
More Banelings still coming in. There's the drop heading northward. The north expansion looks like it is still defended. Heart still battling to try to get into the center. He has not started 3-3 in there. It looks like the Banelings are coming in. A nice lift on the Thor, but he needs to re-land that, and the Banelings go the wrong way. That is exactly what Heart needed. An incredible maneuver from Complexity Heart,
wow.
Annihilating 50 food in one fell sweep. The drop at the north also commencing the center wide and splayed open. The 27 Banelings at the back. This is an amazing recovery by Heart.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And here comes that drop. Immediately the Zerglings are going to be all over it, so he cannot execute it the way he would have liked. And we see Heart unsieging here in the middle. Is he going to continue to move forward? He cannot be caught in a position. Unsiege. It would be absolutely the worst, and there he does put himself back as he continues to just eliminate and erase the creep from around the map. He may also have seen this expansion as well. Spinecrawlers are going up, but they won't be up by the time he possibly gets them down. There they hit, but look at, here comes all the units from DRG down to the south.
Streaming in, so many Banelings. The tank siege up in perfect position. Impeccable placement. The Banelings get blasted down, and Heart will take down this expansion on the right. DRG has been locked down to 3 bases. Where does Dongregu go? This is the map choice of Heart. We see exactly why now, and the counter will be the only play Dongregu has.
He is going to spring forward, and there are a lot of Banelings still here. The Zergling's going to be very important as he gets near the Marines. He will go ahead and hit everything, including the Thors. Magic box over the top of them. The Zerglings have cleaned the Thors up, moving those Banelings in to eliminate as many SCVs.
Get killed! The command center down in red life, but still standing. We see Dongregu pulling all the forces of Heart back. Marines in the main, the main base of Dongregu going down. A double drop in the main. The hive falls.
The hive goes down. Zerglings do look like they will clean this up, and everything's been eliminated from inside the main. So once again, let's take a look. 29 workers killed for Heart, but 42 now killed for DRG. We've got a medevac still in the middle of the map. Taking a look at the supply, 112 to 131. And I would say no one really has a clear advantage. Well, okay, hold on. Heart has a ton.
Oh my God.
A ton. His army supply.
The army supply at 86 for Heart, at 52 for DRG. The worker clearly giving Dongregu a little bit more of that supply composition, and it looks like Heart is going to start pushing forward relentlessly. 3 Broodlords en route.
Oh, the pool was destroyed. That's why the pool was going down. Oh, it's about to be destroyed. Okay, I was my bad. Oh my God. As a Zerg player, it's the worst shot.
Oh my God.
It's the worst.
You saw that there was no pool coming, but it looks like DRG already built a backup pool. A small circling counterattack by DRG. Absolutely brilliant. The Southern expansion completely wide open.
And he's going to go in here and just try to take out as much as he can. SCV's moving down, but Heart moving forward in his center position here. That hasn't stopped DRG from taking all these bases, but Heart is starting to see that and working on the northwest base. He'll be able to go in to that main as well. The Broodlords are out, and we're getting a 4th morphed in now. And how many Infestors? I see
it looks like 6 Infestors,
out
5 Broodlords. Not a very big force. And with no Mutalisks on the map, look at the brilliant position Heart has set himself up in on the center ridge, scanning, picking off all those creep tumors, the tanks there, ready to deal with any Zergling counterattack. And the north main is wide open. Nothing that Dongregu can do about it. A couple of Zerglings are going to get picked off in the middle. Dongregu misclicking huge.
Ooh, a tank does go down, but there are still several in the middle. A lot of medevacs here to help with that bio. I'll tell you what, if the fungals of DRG are really solid and he manages to get rid of those Marines, I mean, he has what it takes to clean it up. But back at the main, there is, of course, several more tanks just to prevent those counterattacks and a lot more Marines coming. So I feel like it's all going to be about these Infestors.
It looks like there's the siege up. How does Heart answer? He is on the run. The Ling Baneling begin to sprint forward. Is there that medevac? It is getting ready to drop the north position, but in the center, an incredible rearrangement of forces as that fleet of Broodlords storms forward, 7 strong, but 71 Marines. The unload at the Northern Expo. Brilliant play by Heart. Dongregu must win with this attack.
This little force over here that is in Heart's third, or in DRG's third, has just definitely been a force taking out now 2 bases working on their third.
Here it comes, the final battle, the stim, all the Marines sprint forward. Is it a mistake? It all comes down to the fungals of DRG. The northern expansion is about to fall. The Vikings come into play, down to under 100 hit points. The northern expansion falls as all the Broodlords storm in. There is no more mining base for DRG. Can he control this perfectly?
The Vikings are out. They continue to try to do damage versus these Broodlords, but here come the Corruptors. All the tanks are about ready to be cleaned up. They are gone. It is only Bio and a couple of Thors at this point. In come the Infestors. If he lands even a single fungal across this, it could mean certain disaster. There are only a few Banelings, so it is going to all be about these fungals.
It's about the fungals in the main. A drop from Heart, trying to finish off what he started. Most of the Marines over there, 132 to 101, long-range mining down for DRG as he is mining from the right main. Dongregu refuses to make an error, refuses to 1A his way to death, but it looks like Dongregu literally has no way to add on more units.
Right. I mean, his production is halted, and right now we see at least 4 Marines coming out at a time, and the Vikings. And even if he drops the perfect fungals, will he have enough? Actually, he's going to drop down Infested Terrans. As, I mean, how is he going to be able to deal with this?
Heart is starting to move forward. An amazing fungal. The first perfect fungal. Another perfect fungal.
Oh my gosh.
The food's starting to even up. Can Dongregu do it? Is storming forward with the Zerglings. I don't believe it. I do not believe it at all, Marcus.
Oh my God. Oh my God. The Infestor still with a lot of energy left. Zerglings left over to take everything out. Now we have 6 Marines in production, but he's just eating Marines alive.
0 income for Dongregu. The Marines are down to 4. 2 Vikings on the field. There is no more energy left. Look at the income tab, Marcus. 0 for Dongregu. A pair of Marines in the main. 4 complexities. Heart might be what it needs to just completely cripple Dong Regu.
He has to get rid of these 2 Marines inside the main. I mean, it would take them like literally 10 years to destroy the whole base, but if he does that, then there's literally no chance now for Hart to come back. I mean, he's really fighting with what, 2 Marines coming out of time. There's GG!
GG! Dong Regu on 0 bases with 0 income. 50 food behind, does the unthinkable, closes the series out 4-1. He is up against Marine King Prime in the grand final, demonstrating the most perfect ZVT form we have seen in months.
I mean, absolutely amazing. Not only that, but now going up in a rematch versus Marine King Prime, a best-of-9 extended series. You thought that the games were going to be over soon, but suddenly you got a best-of-9 dropped on your head, and it is going to be amazing to see these two face off again. If you recall, we had such a great game, but let's talk a little bit about this one. DRG with the early bust, making it look like he might just win it right there, but Hart with that quick third command center starting to get back into it, and then they took us to a longer game.
I mean, 30 food behind, Hart pushing through the middle, caught Dong Regu at the perfect angle with the Banelings, and drew all of them the wrong direction. They couldn't land on all those Marines, and suddenly Hart seized control, continued pushing, and Dong Regu looked dead. Down to 3 bases, rebuilt 7 of those Broodlords, 9 Infestors backing up, a little bit of Ling Baneling, but that last battle, 5 minutes of no bases, no mining, it was all or nothing with Dong Regu, and he waited and waited and waited and waited and waited until the last second to storm in with all the Ling Baneling. Dude, Tastosis, talk to us about that last game.
It was a great game, but a little bit inconsiderate. I sat up straight and put on my headset like 9 times thinking the game was about to end.
I was blown away by how well both players are playing. Artosis and I were saying, well, the game's about to end, but we don't know who's going to win.
Yeah, it was so unbelievably
let us
close.
Not forget, I mean, Hart has really made a name for himself. I never would have thought that, a player with the ID that is the same as my least favorite Captain Planet character would get so far in this tournament.
A player
and
with the
so
same name as my least favorite organ get this far.
I'm a liver guy myself. No, but seriously, it's immaculate, the play he had there. I was sure for a little bit DRG was screwed, but it was interesting. You could see, and this is kind of a fundamental way to be Terrans, is once you get to the production facilities, sort of like with Zerg, once you can kill the hive and then a few tech structures, for Terran, it's once you just get to where the units are popping out of, they can't group together, and therefore there's no way to really win. And DRG utilized that, and it was a tough situation, but damn. Now we got to go to the finals.
With a player like Dong Regu, you watch him play standard almost always. He just does a nice long-form Zerg versus Terran style. And again, with that sort of player, you tend to think, well, when he's thrown out of his comfort zone, that is where you can seize wins. Hart pushing DRG way out of any normal Zerg's comfort zone, and Dong Regu controlled that final battle perfectly. There was about 100 times where a slight misclick would have cost DRG that whole army and the game, and he just never made those mistakes.
I want to point out one other thing that you mentioned that really was just amazing to see, but as the Banelings were marching through the middle, we had the pickup on the Thor, dropped it to sort of re-aggro, and lost like half of those in that. And I mean, it really just goes to show that this player deserves your recognition. So ladies and gentlemen, I mean, give it up for Complexity Hart, who had an amazing run here through the MLG Winter Championships.
$9,000 will be his prize pool that he will walk away with. And I think it's most important to note that the 2 most seemingly invincible players are going to rematch again in the Winter Championships. Dong Regu versus Marine King Prime, a continuation of the Winter Arena.
Yeah, I mean, we talk and we love the rivalries that exist in professional gaming and specifically in StarCraft 2. And although it may not seem like it, these two are just destined to meet once again, as they had Dong Regu fight through the losers bracket of the Winter Arena to make it to that finals, only to lose to Marine King Prime, where he secured his first championship. And then now they meet again at the Winter Championship. Can DRG settle the score, or will Will Marine King Prime finally secure that title as a champion with the second win? We're going to find out soon. I'm DJ Wheat.
I'm Day 9, the championship of MLG winner, right after this.